Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're just going to do a short tutorial on how, if you're just beginning to sew, the best way to get used to your machine. What you'll need is just an old pillowcase. Don't go buying fabric just to practice. An old pillowcase or a sheet, anything that you can get your hands on really. And we're going to make use of a roll of masking tape today. Now, I used to teach people how to sew in a factory setting for quite a number of years, so these little tips and tricks will get you used to your machine. The analogy I always used was, if you can drive and you know how to regulate your accelerator, you will know how to regulate your pedal on your machine. And that's really all it's down to, learning the speed of your machine. What we need is your old pillowcase or sheet, scissors and some masking tape. Masking tape, I'm going to cut into the edge, and this is just a good way to give yourself a marker on your machine, like a guide. You can also buy magnetized edges that will sit on the side of your foot. Cut into this, just a thickness, and snip it off just about 1.5 inches. And we're going to set this right in beside your foot. Just stick it onto your plate and it'll peel off easy. And don't mind if it comes away, just cut another piece and put it back on. So that's right along the edge of the foot here. That gives me my guide. Now we've got our machine set up. Take your pillowcase, turn it inside out. Doesn't really matter at this point, but we'll turn it inside out to get going anyway. Fold it in half and then in quarters. Doesn't have to be perfect, just line it up as best you can. And what I'm going to do is cut some strips, just a long strip. As I say, they don't need to be perfect and they don't need to be straight. A tip whenever you're cutting, make sure you can hear your scissors on your bench. Don't cut in midair. Okay, that's enough strips. I'm going to go a little bit wider now. And make yourself cut through the folds here. And make yourself some little square shapes. Just tip off the end. Just keep these in wee bundles. So once you get into this a while, you will find it boring, and that's when you know you're good to start sewing little projects. Last wee piece here I'm going to cut in like a half moon shape. And we can just chuck that in the bin. Now, first things first, we're going to go for the strips. Take one of your strips, fold it over so that you're sewing double as you would if you were making a garment. Set it in along the side of your tape and gently push on your pedal. If you're a first time machine user, by this stage you should have gotten used to how to thread your machine. And the fear that people have is actually pushing the treadle and hearing the sound of the machine. Now let's have a look. We're on a zigzag stitch here. Like I say, it's like driving. Once you get used to the sound of your machine, as you would with the sound of your car, you can go faster on your pedal. So this is nice and gently. and it's allowing you to move your hands and feed your fabric. Along the side of your taped guide. Now you'll start to find this boring because it's so slow. Just keep going on your strip and you'll hear the sound of the machine getting faster. And right to the end. There we go. Clip that off. And that's just to help you get used to the sound of your machine and your foot on your treadle. Now for your second stripe or strip, same again, take it on the fold, 2 layers, as most times that's what you're going to sew, at least 2 layers. And we're going to do the same, but we're going to use your back tack stitch. Find your button or your lever for your back tack. Never start right at the edge because your feeders will push that in. Just come in a millimetre or 2 so that your needle can get a catch of your fabric. Go forward a few and push your back tack so you're going back to your edge. My back tack button is right here. Going forward, keep sewing, push your back tack button, don't stop, the machine will go back by itself. And we want to get up a little bit of speed and back tack, a little faster, back tack, back tack. This will get you used to sewing and back tacking without stopping. And keeping your fabric against your guide. Right to the end. Now you want to go slow. You don't want to catch your fabric at the end, so don't go to the right to the last stitch. Back tack, keep it together, and right to the end. Needle up. Now, you can see all your little back tack stitches here. That just gets you used to where your button or your lever is. We're going to move on to squares. I've come across questions after question after question how to do nice neat squares. So lift 2 of your little square pieces, set them into your machine up against your tape guide and gently start to sew your line. And stop. Now, when I turn my square around, if there's too much fabric here, you need to do another 1 or 2 stitches to get a perfect square. As long as it's not up over your tape, you'll get a good square. And we let that go with that one because at this point I want to show you, now that you have your square, how to turn a nice neat corner. Fold one side over, right to the corner stitch, and your second side down again on the corner stitch. Pop your fingertip in there and push out. and that's the flattest corner you will get doing that wee process. Now we'll go back to our squares. You will eventually get to know yourself where to stop. We're going to go right around this one. Your squares aren't cut in a perfect shape, but it's enough to get you used to doing corners. Now we're going to try again, and we're going to start with a back tack stitch. So if you go too far, go a stitch back. And a back tack at the end. Now we're combining a straight line stitch, a corner, and back tack. These are all the things you'll need whenever you're starting to sew your own little projects. So we started off with the strip, another strip with your back tack. Learn how to use your back tack button and how to go around in a square. This time we're going to do a curve. And start with the back tack. And the same thing applies. Keep the curve of your fabric, the edge, to the edge of your tape. And nice and slowly, your feeders will feed your fabric in. You don't need to watch your needle. You watch your hands. Your hands will guide your fabric. Your needle is going to sew regardless of whether you're looking at it or not, so you need to watch where you need to make movement. We'll try another one. As you get more confident, you'll use your back tack as much as you can. Like I said, your needle's going to sew regardless of what you're doing. Your attention should be on your hands and your fingers or whatever, and keeping the edge of your fabric. This is what you want to watch. And a back tack. These are the basic exercises that I would have used while training non-sewists to become factory sewers. And you have to bear in mind that speed is everything to them eventually. But the basics are a straight line with back tack, how to do squares and curves. I've seen almost every garment in the industry being made, and these are your basics. So do your straight line as many times as you need to feel comfortable. Then move on to your straight line with back tack. Again, do as many as you need until you feel comfortable. Your squares and your curves. They'll all eventually become natural to you. Memory muscle will retain all this, and you will automatically know how to push a button for your back tack or your lever, or how to do a square. But the little tape idea is great for beginners, because a lot of people I have seen ask, how does everybody do a straight line? That's basically, a professional would know how to do a straight line without a guide, but use a bit of masking tape for your guide and that'll work just fine. Like I said, as you get used to your machine and the sound of your pedal, and how fast, the speed of your machine. All these wee exercises will become quite boring to you, but they're the best thing to get you started. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Anything else you need to know about beginners, send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.